Hi, I'm Devin Moore, your host for Humanity Rising's Race to Speak Up podcast and founder of hashtag Race to Speak Up, an anti-bullying organization. The Race to Speak Up podcast is a place where we have open and engaging conversations about bullying prevention, how to be upstanders, and how we are making a positive change in our communities. So the question now is, how do you race to speak up? Hello and welcome to the Race to Speak Up podcast. I'm your host, Devin Moore. Joining me today is Kevin Morrison. Cook County Commissioner Kevin B. Morrison represents the 15th District on the Cook County Board of Commissioners. His district is made up of the northwest suburbs of Chicago. His core issues include improving access to mental health services and providing development opportunities and support for small businesses. Kevin also is a member of the Victory Fund Board of Directors. As the first openly LGBTQ Cook County Commissioner, Kevin speaks up for the most disproportionately impacted and marginalized communities. Welcome, Kevin. How are you today?
I'm doing well, Devin. Thank you so much for having me here today.
Thank you for being here. Now, tell us about your role as the Chicago Cook County Commissioner.
Yeah, and so I was elected in 2018. My district includes the northwest suburbs and 17 municipalities in suburban Cook County. The Cook County Board of Commissioners is the governing board and legislative body of the county. It comprises 17 commissioners who each serve a 4-year term, and we are elected from single-member districts, each district representing around approximately 300,000 residents. The Board of Commissioners is responsible for the management of Cook County affairs, and we oversee the county's annual budget. And since taking office in 2018, my top priorities have been improving access to critical healthcare services, such as mental health services, supporting small business development, and pushing for a more fair and transparent home assessment process here in the county.
What led you to being commissioner?
Oh my gosh, what led me to being commissioner? So many things. I would say one of the more impactful was, seeing the sexism my mom experienced as a youth. My mom's a small business owner. She owns an Italian restaurant, and seeing customers just kind of look over her and not and blatantly show that they would never have imagined a strong, independent woman owning a small business was definitely very impactful on my life. So I knew that no matter what my career route was, I wanted to make sure that I was helping deal with the inequities that currently existed and helping better my community. So I got really involved. In college, I was volunteering with a lot of environmental groups here in the state of Illinois. I started interning for a couple of our aldermen, which is the city council for Chicago. And then I got involved with candidate campaigns and helping elect, more progressive voices to office. And I really enjoyed going door to door and helping talk about the critical issues that were affecting and impacting that community. And after, 2 years working on the Hillary Clinton campaign, I came back home. I was working for my congressman, and I realized we needed a change with my predecessor who held the seat before me, and we needed someone who was really going to take constituent services to the next level and listen to the residents in the northwest suburbs and make sure we were seeing policies that would benefit them and help move the county in a better direction.
Well, awesome. I see you're doing a lot of great things. And now I want to ask you, have you ever experienced bullying? And if so, would you be willing to share your story with us?
Yes. I unfortunately was the recipient of bullying, predominantly between fourth grade and my sophomore year of high school. It was a very difficult time for me personally, and it definitely impacted my own mental health. I was bullied almost on a daily basis, and it included everything from how I looked, my weight, and at the time I was in the closet, but I was the recipient of many a homophobic slur. And, it definitely was challenging. And I was lucky that, I had access to mental health resources that helped me keep strong during that period of time.
Well, I'm glad you had access to that too, because I know when it comes to a lot of the youth, they don't have that or they don't know that they do. So what else did you do to get through it?
Yeah. So, first I do want to give credit to my fourth grade teacher. When I started getting bullied, she witnessed that experience and referred me to the school counselor, which was the first time I ever sat down and talked to someone about my experience. Um, Later on in high school, I had a therapist, but I would say one of the chief things that helped me get through, and I was really fortunate. I had career goals at 10 years old, which is probably a really odd thing to have for any youth. But I recognized that when I grew up, I wanted to work and help better the communities around me, help deal with inequities, discrimination, inadequate, access to resources that impacted many of our communities. And so I knew that I needed to buckle down and do good in school. And so even though it was challenging to go into school, just kind of knowing ahead of time I was likely going to be bullied that day, I still went every single day because I knew I needed to do good in school if I wanted to achieve those career goals. And so, I put my head down and I dug my head into the books, and I just tried to keep going.
Wow, that's really good. And I can definitely relate to that. I mean, once I went through my horrible and racist bully or cyberbullying experiences, I knew that I had to speak up. And that's where, well, actually, that's where the name Race to Speak Up came from. And that's where me talking to my parents and having someone who actually stood up for me, like how you said with your teacher, they stood up or they rose up and helped you. Have you ever witnessed anyone else getting bullied? And if so, were you able to stand up for others?
Um, you know, I, I do not like seeing people treated poorly in general. Um, I actually had an incident occur this weekend where I, witnessed a boyfriend demeaning his girlfriend in public, and I kind of, made a comment to try to alleviate the situation. But no, I definitely witnessed, other individuals being mistreated, and for me, I know personally what it feels like to be put in that situation, to be humiliated, embarrassed, feel demeaned, and I think it's important. Of course, I want to put out there, you never want to place yourself in a situation where you might be placed at risk yourself. So there might be times where you need to get assistance from someone else who might be more helpful in alleviating that situation. But sometimes just saying, hey, that's not cool, or you know you know making a comment supportive of, say they're being criticized for a certain difference, making a comment in support of them could have an impact and could stop the bullying as it's progressing.
Seeing others like intervene, which is upstanders, they're helping, that really does 90%, like 90% of the time, it is, and there being no more bullying or no more of that situation, at least at that moment. Do you think that by others seeing that like upstander, like examples of that being an upstander, do you think that aids in helping others become upstanders and others helping those who are going through bullying?
Oh, 100%. And I'll say, like, when someone needs assistance and you step in to help them, um, people see that, and they notice it, and hopefully, that will make that more common, where instead of individuals, talking down on others or bullying them, we see people helping each other out, right? We all have problems that we face day in and day out, and you know there's nothing that feels better than helping others, and that's something that I really enjoy doing. I love meeting new people. I love hearing different perspectives, and stepping up to volunteer, to help others in need is one of the most satisfying things you can do. And so, I would always compel individuals, try to help those around you. It not only makes you feel good, but hopefully it will, spread that, and other individuals will hopefully step up and help those around them as well.
Does your office have resources in place that address bullying?
So at the count, well, I'll say, one of the things that I did when I got elected to office was create a commission on addressing equity, bias, and cultural competency at the county. And the report that we received from that had a bulk of recommendations for how we can move the county in a better direction. So I was really trying to ensure that when it comes to people employed at the county, we are able to be respectful of our coworkers, but also the residents that come to us for services. And so, I've been working really hard on making Cook County a more equitable place. And when it comes to resources that address bullying, my office partners directly with a lot of organizations throughout the county, but more specifically in the 15th district. Like, for example, we do a lot of work with the Kenneth Young Center, which is a fantastic mental health nonprofit in my district. They actually opened the first LGBTQ center in the northwest suburbs of Cook County. And I was really happy to be there for their opening. And they do a lot of work helping assist individuals with bullying. So, we always are sharing, the group meetings that they do, their services, and partnering with all the other organizations here in the northwest suburbs that, either help kids who are experiencing bullying, but also, putting out programs that are available for individuals who are dealing with, say, substance abuse or, are unstably housed. No matter what issue that they're struggling with, we try to get that information out to the public.
Oh, that's really good. And I like how you're getting out these like you're helping like multiple different causes. And I actually appreciate that. There's so many different things that I've seen when it comes to bullying. And a lot of the times it really does just lead down a bad, or I'll say negative road. The fact that I turned this negative into a positive by starting my organization, or my anti-bullying organization, Race to Speak Up, and just helping others and having people like you, having those who are part of the Humanity Rising movement and a part of the Race to Speak Up movement, helping others to let them know that we're here for them, and we only want to help you. We only want to support you. And so I'm just really happy to hear what you're doing. What's your experience been like as an openly gay commissioner?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I tell you, when I announced that I was running for office, I was actually unaware that we had never had a openly LGBT Cook County commissioner elected to any of the 17 districts. So I wasn't attempting to make history. I just knew that we needed a better commissioner in my district. But when I was elected, I became the first openly LGBT individual. During that race, on National Coming Out Day, a homophobic attack ad landed in mailboxes across the district, which was not, easy for me to see, but I was so incredibly fortunate for members of our community and allies who really stepped up after that incident to help give me support to get me through the finish line and get elected in the first place. I will say that upon my election, I thought maybe I would experience some homophobia. Instead, I probably actually experienced more ageism. I'm the first openly LGBT, but I'm the youngest Cook County commissioner ever elected. I was elected at 28 years old. And so I was incredibly fortunate that when it came to me being openly LGBTQ, my counterparts on the board and people who work at Cook County treated me with respect. And there really weren't any uncomfortable situations I had to deal with people that were currently working at the county. So luckily, it's been a beautiful experience. And I've worked hard, like I said, with the Equity Commission. One of the recommendations was hiring a countywide equity director, which we satisfied last summer. But also I've worked on getting transphobic language taken out of the Cook County Code. This year, I actually got past the gender inclusive forms and documents ordinance, which passed unanimously. So I got our 2 Republican members so far to support every LGBTQ initiative that I brought forward on the board, and it passed them unanimously, which was a feat, but also felt really good to do.
That's really cool. I mean, it's 2021 now. We really do need these changes, especially with people who are a part of this genderqueer community, a part of the trans community, part of like, well, LGBT community. I mean, I think that we definitely do need these changes. And speaking from just experience in general, having that support when it comes to sexuality and gender, it really aids in you just feeling comfortable and happy within yourself. Even then, I mean, some could even say that that's just it's validating. And I truly am happy. I'm going to keep saying this, but I'm truly am just happy with what you're doing. Would you like to share your coming out experience?
Yeah. So, I first want to preface, every person and individual in the LGBTQ community, we all have a different coming out experience. So it's going to be unique to everyone. But, with me, I was lucky, starting my freshman year of high school to have some close friends who also identified as part of the LGBTQ community. So there was a close, network of friends who also were similarly situated that I was able to confide in during my high school years. However, it really wasn't until college that I became more self-confident in living an open and out and living my authentic self. And so I was fortunate to go to DePaul University my freshman year of college. Though it's one of the largest Catholic universities in the nation, it is a university that prides itself on diversity and being accepting of all communities. And there was a really robust LGBTQ organization on campus, and you couldn't even walk into the student center without seeing pro LGBT signs, flags, and the like. And my freshman year of college, and seeing people being able to live their open, authentic selves really helped give me what I needed to finally come out to my family and to, live more openly.
Well, that's amazing. I'm happy to hear it all. It's great to have that experience at school and that just life experiences with others supporting you, even in places where you may not expect it. What would you say to other youth who are struggling with this issue of coming out, especially when they're in hard home environments who may not accept them?
Yeah. So what I would say is, you know, and like I actually know a few people who are open with all their friends and maybe even their siblings, but have yet to come out with their parents, and struggle reconciling their parents' religious beliefs, which I know that depending on what religion you were brought up in, if you were brought up with a religion, certain religions are a little bit more conservative than others. But what I would say is, living your true authentic self is one of the most fulfilling and satisfying things you can do. Keeping yourself in a box or in the closet uh, is very difficult, and it definitely will have a mental impact on you. And I know it did on me when I was living in the closet. And um, I would just say, listen to your heart. You're gonna know what is right for you and when that right time might be. But if you are really fearful of how some of your loved ones might respond, I hope that you will, find someone to talk to, find a close friend who is accepting. If you are hopefully able to access mental health resources, speaking with a therapist or a counselor, a trusting professor or educator, um, you know, being able to meet people who are living openly LGBTQ lives, they're likely going to be able to give you the best advice and talk to you through that unique situation. Like I said, we all have our own coming out stories. We all deal with things a little bit differently, but finding people who could be empathetic and compassionate and give you good advice is always a good place to start.
Great message to spread. What can parents and schools do to better support the youth?
Yeah, I would say advocating to Congress to push for high quality education for all youth. I think one of the things that I'm very passionate about is seeing greater equity in the education system, so that no matter what zip code you come from, you will have access to high quality education. So I really think on a national level we need to see some changes there. But I think that what is critical for parents and adults in our communities to do is to make sure that there is equity initiatives at their schools, that they are talking to students about equity and about being respectful of others. We all come in different shapes, sizes, colors, different religions, different backgrounds. Some of us might be immigrants. Being able to have conversations about why it's important to be respectful of others is crucial. Having groups on school that will hopefully work to end bullying in schools once and for all, I think is really important as well. We had character counts when I went to school, but I feel like though we were being taught that as youth, I don't necessarily feel like all my teachers really lived up to those values. And so making sure that educators also, when they are witnessing bullying in the hallways, know that they have to stand up and step up and get involved with that situation, de-escalate, and end the bullying. I unfortunately had, teachers who witnessed me get bullied, who never stepped up, who never did anything, who didn't try to stop that situation, who didn't tell the kid who was calling me a homophobic slur in the hallway that wasn't okay. And changes like that we really need to see. And I really hope that most of our schools here in the nation are doing a better job when it comes to confronting bullying.
I completely agree. I know that when it comes to teachers, I feel that there's really a need for them to continue, like, I would say each year, and this is actually going along with the anti-bullying law that I was telling you about this before the podcast, but with the anti-bullying law, like I want school superintendents to like have these bullying situations reported to and it be put on the school website. Of course, personal information won't be revealed, but when it comes to the teachers, they need to like keep getting education on what bullying is and the new forms that it comes in. And when you see it, stop it. And when you see it, can you identify it as bullying? You need to first identify and then correctly handle the situation so that, the youth shouldn't have to be going through this. And when you see it, you need to do something about it. And I know that there's a lot of like, a lot of people I hear tend to say, like, when you see something, say something. That's very true. You need to speak up, and encouraging others to do that. You need to be there for them. Support goes a long way. It's interesting how you brought up, or I really just like the fact that you brought up how we all look different. Like we all come in different shapes and sizes, different sexualities, different genders. We're from these different backgrounds, but yet we're all unified. And the meaning of race to speak up, or one of the meanings, is that we are all a part of one race, which is the human race. I mean, that's what my main message has been for as soon as I started the Race to Speak Up organization, as soon as I started my message. We need to all identify, we all need to understand, we all need to understand the fact that we are a part of this one human race. We just happen to look different, but that shouldn't divide us. What message do you have for students themselves when it comes to bullying?
Yeah, and so what I would say is, often when it comes to a bully, you know, there's a good chance that that individual is reacting and treating others in a negative manner because they're dealing with some personal demon that they have. Something has traumatized or impacted them, and now they are using, unfortunately, that pain to cause pain on others. And so, what I would the message I really want to put out there if you are experiencing bullying in school is, maybe it might give you some solace to know that it's likely not you that is causing the bullying. It's something out of your control and something impacting that individual. Um, Another message I want to give out there is nothing feels better than being nice and treating others with kindness. And so I think that goes a long way. And if you are respectful to others, people are going to treat you with respect. And that is a incredible lesson to have, not only when you're in high school or in going through your K through 12 education, but also as you move into your career into adulthood. Respect is key. Keeping trust is incredibly important. And so, often when you're the recipient of bullying, it has a negative impact on you. And, we all have our own individual traumas. There is no weakness in getting mental health help. I often say, you, we need to step up and end the stigma on mental health. Getting mental health assistance is a strength and not a weakness. I know I wouldn't be in the position I am today had I not had access to mental health resources. And that's why I'm working incredibly hard to move my county in the direction of vastly expanding mental health and behavioral health services countywide. As a nation, we are failing when it comes to the amount of individuals and access to mental health services. We truly are behind, and we need to really press all of our local leaders on expanding that. And that's one of the reasons why, when it comes to the American Rescue Plan Act's dollars that are coming into Cook County, one of the chief things I'm pushing for is expanding mental and behavioral health services here in Cook County.
I agree with you. What are your well, you mentioned one of your hopes, which is like pushing that. So what are your hopes as commissioner moving forward?
Yeah, and so I definitely mentioned expanding mental health resources. That is key. Unfortunately, Cook County Jail is the largest mental health provider in the entire county and in the entire state of Illinois, and that is a statistic that I am working really hard to change. I've also one of the reasons why I ran, like I said, my mom is a small business owner. Growing up in the small business world, you get a knack for some of the issues that small businesses face, and so I'm working hard to try to do whatever I can to support our current small businesses, but I'm also trying to create a grant program that would support our next generation of entrepreneurs. So youth who might not have the means, but have the ideas and want to push forward and create a business. How do we assist them in creating jobs and growing our local economies? And so helping the next generation of entrepreneurs get on the ground, and also working with the county as we for the past 2.5 years have been looking at everything with an equity lens. But I want to make sure that's enhanced. I want to make sure that when you come to Cook County, no matter where you come from, no matter your background, you're going to be respected and you're going to have access to services just like every other community member.
Well, I think it's great. All the things that you're doing, I know it's great. And I know that it's the impactful need that we really do need in this world. My last question for you is, how can people find you? Tell us your social media platforms and your website.
Yeah, and so my website is Commissioner Kevin B as in Brian Morrison.org. And then on social media, you can find me at Twitter at KB Morrison, and then the number 15, so KB Morrison 15. Instagram, I'm at Commissioner K Morrison. And if you want to find me on Facebook as well, you can just search Commissioner Kevin B. Morrison.
Well, thank you, Commissioner Morrison. Thank you for everything that you're doing to create better communities and for inspiring our youth.
Hey, Devin, thank you so much. You are an inspiration. What you've achieved at just 17 years old is incredible. Keep it up, and I can't wait to see where you go as you move into your career. And for everyone who's supporting this great organization, thank you, and keep up the great work.
Thank you, Commissioner Morrison, and thank you for everyone listening. I hope to see you guys at future Race to Speak Up podcasts. If you have any questions about the Race to Speak Up podcast, feel free to contact me at racetospeakup@gmail.com. Make sure to follow at Race to Speak Up on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter for updates on future podcasts. And remember to join the Humanity Rising movement. Humanity Rising offers scholarships for students making a difference in the world through service. Visit www.humanityrising.org for more information. And ask yourself this question: how do you race to speak up?